We're now joined by a good friend of Lucille Broadcasting, Bill Scott, author of the brand new book, The Day Satan Called. And I know some folks are going to think, what? What kind of title is that? But you actually had this amazing experience. So let's kind of start all the way at the beginning, how this even got started.
You know, I was working at a radio station at the time.
And this is a true story.
This is a true story, yeah. And I promise you've read very few books like this. It took me a couple of decades to have the guts to write it. But the phone rings, and it's this girl. She says, I'm about to be sacrificed. And it's before Halloween. I'm like...
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh.
I mean, I did too. I'm sort of like... You know, I got another song. You got a request that you want to hear? And she's like, no.
This is a Christian radio station.
Yeah, you know. And she says, no, I'm going to be sacrificed. I'm escaping out of this coven. Can you help me? Wow. I'm thinking, well, I've never quite had a call like that before, you know. And she'd hang up, then she'd call. We were trying to find her. It took us like 4 days to find this lady. And when we did, witches and warlocks showed up. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm the most unlikely person, all right? I didn't know any of this stuff existed outside of, you know, a movie. Yeah. And they're in our studios, and police are taking them away. Church security's taking them away. It was a big church that the station was in.
I can imagine this is not the crowd that you would...
This is not the crowd I hang with.
It's not the pointy hats. This is...
No, it's just...
It's a rough crowd.
It is a rough crowd. And so everybody's gone, and there she is. And I had never experienced any kind of demonic activity in my life, not that I knew of. And this girl is just going nuts. And there's voices coming out of her, and I'm like, all right, I grew up in a real conservative church. We didn't talk about this. Unless the missionaries from Africa happened to mention it happened. Yeah. And that was okay.
Once a year.
Yeah, once a year. And that was okay because that was in Africa, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm seeing this. And I'm thinking, what do you do? And I didn't even realize at the time Satan will try to intimidate you not to use the powers that God has given you, because that's the only power he really has over us. And I'm like, Jesus' name, no.
Yeah. Stop it.
And the demon's like, you know, I don't think so. And I remember looking at my friend going, well,
now what?
that was 20 years of church. I'm in trouble now. And we had to find somebody that knew what they were doing. Well, long story short, we ended up putting her into a safe house. For about a year. It was Teen Challenge, and they took care of her and really discipled her. At the same time, all these witches and warlocks are trying to find her. But boy, the battle, never seen anything like it in my life before. Hopefully not again, but it is very real.
Now, was there an exact moment where you kind of just, I've read a little bit about how you actually confronted a spirit in your home. I mean, was there a point where you just said, enough is enough, and this is kind of like battleground, you know? And
it was. Well, you know, when our home was haunted for those few weeks, and at the end, I'm laying there, my wife's looking in like the bedroom mirror at the end of our bed, and she could see down the hallway. I know something's going on. I can feel it. I mean, it's the heaviness, you know. And I said, what's going on? She goes, oh, I'm dreaming. I went, no, you're not. She says, there is a black figure walking down our hallway. Now, I'm telling you, I know people think I'm crazy at this point. I would have thought I was crazy. That's why for 21 years I never even mentioned it. I thought, you know, if it kills me, it kills me, but I'm going to ask why it's here. And I remember just getting up and saying, in Jesus' name, why are you in my home? And as loud as we're talking now, it said I'm an invited guest. Not a good sign.
What would you say to people who could, because this is a real thing that some people do deal with. My grandpa was a bit of an authority on this.
He was.
And he was very clear that he said, look, if you don't have the power to take authority over this thing, leave. You know, move, because it's gonna torment you. So what advice would you give to people?
Yeah, and that's good. And I've read your grandpa's books, and he's right on. You don't have to put up with Satan giving you a beating. Yeah. And that's what he was doing. There's open doors. Find somebody that has authority, that knows what they're doing, and let them walk with you. But things don't have to go bump in the night, and that's good news.
That might be a better subtitle or title of the book next time. Things don't have to go bump in the night.
That'll be the sequel.
Don't listen to him. If you want to connect with Bill, the book is called The Day Satan Called, and the website's thedaysatancalled.com.
Yep, there's a free chapter there for anybody to grab.
Find an easy link to that website at ours, harvest-tv.com. Don't go anywhere. Harvest will return right after this.